what they be saying, the saxophones are getting louder. So let me first start by saying most of the kids at the daycare that I work at, 95% white. I'm back in for the day. And call this little girl Heaven. Heaven says, Miss Amber, that is not how you put your hoodie on. I said, girl, give me a second, dang. We laugh. And I'm calling this little girl Clarissa. Clarissa say, Miss Amber, you got Michael Jackson on your hoodie? I said, where's Michael Jackson at? That's how we playing. She was like, Miss Amber, Michael Jackson's on your hoodie. Where is Michael Jackson at? And then the name is on the back. Clarissa, I know you're playing with me. And she said, no, that's Michael Jackson. I said, this is why, instead of y'all being on TikTok, learning about Pride, Independence Day, President's Day, y'all need to be learning about Black history, because that's not Michael Jackson. And, what's Black History Month? I said, Black History Month ain't just Black history. It's our history, your history. I'm not Black. And I said, but you will be here for one for us. And she goes, I'm just saying, I'm not Black. And I said, tell mommy and daddy to get you off of TikTok and off YouTube and tell you the real history of America. Girl, quit playing. You know that has nothing to do with that. Teaching these kids to be spoiled and dumb. We'll call this little boy Brandon. He said, that's Martin Luther King Jr. And so another little boy, we'll call it Eric. Now mind you, the only Black one that was talking to me or involved in the conversation was Heaven. Everybody else was white. So another little boy named Eric said, yeah, I learned about him in school. So Brandon says, well, what'd you learn? What did he do? Y'all are old enough to know about everything and everybody else except for Black history. That's sad. Clarissa says, I'm not Black. I don't need to know about you. Another boy, I'm going to call him Henry. He said, Martin Luther King Jr. was the one who did the speech and led the march for Black people and white people to come together. I said, oh, you know a little bit of something. He goes, yeah, my mom and dad told me.
Oh, you looking all good. You go, boy.
Little girl Clarissa looks at me and goes, good for them. I don't want to know about that. People get out here and be mad because we be speaking out about people really need to know the history of America. Y'all kids is running around here doing TikToks. Y'all kids is running around here talking about whose boyfriend is whose boyfriend, whose girlfriend is whose girlfriend. Boy, they see mommy and daddy doing, but they don't know how to read and or they don't know their own history. Let's talk about Pride. Let's talk about Independence Day. Let's talk about Christmas. Where's your lesson plans for Black History Month, Juneteenth? Let's talk about the pride that us as Black Americans are starting to gain back from learning about our true history. And we really got our independence on Juneteenth. They don't get my Black ass, ain't they?